Aaron.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're eating food like I was last episode. They get back at me.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you not listen to our episode last month?
Huh?
Is this one of those things where you refuse to listen to our episodes, just QK listens to our
No,
episodes?
I don't know. I don't. I'm listening. I'm just
What are you eating?
I'm eating pistachio nuts.
Pistachio nuts.
Yeah, it seemed
Is this
appropriate.
pistachio nuts? Did you smuggle these pistachio nuts?
No, I just bought them at the store. I think
Are they Colombo brand pistachio nuts?
well, no, they're Peppy brand pistachio nuts, but it
Pep
seemed
wait, Pep wait, hold up. Peppy makes pistachio nuts?
yeah, Peppy's got like different kinds of foods. You know, they got coffee, which is of course the greatest coffee
Yeah.
in the world, but they've got different foods too, and
Well, I know that.
and they've got
Remember
nuts.
I get their gum
Yeah, of course you get their
once a
gum, but
day.
these are the nut. These are pistachio nuts, and I'm eating them. I thought, you know what? Because it's all we do. We talk about James Bond. That's what I'm
Do
doing. I'm
you,
eating pistachio nuts because
do
that's what happened.
you break them apart before you eat the nut, or do you put the whole nut in your mouth and eat like sunflower seeds?
It depends. I break them apart because I haven't really mastered the whole like crack him with my mouth thing.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes because like this one right here, I know you can't
Yeah.
see it, but it's
Oh,
like there's not as much of a gap, so I like have to really
yeah.
work at it. So I stick it in my mouth and try and crack it with my mouth,
Uh-huh.
or do I just put it back in the bag and get a different one that's easier to open?
You know what I've noticed
Uh huh.
is that if you get generic brand pistachio nuts, they tend to have a far greater amount that don't have that crack, like you were mentioning, that
Um,
are seamless. I'm sure the Pepe brand
these are
has
not
very few of
generic.
those.
No, yeah, these are not generic. These are Peppy
Yeah,
pistachio. Peppy
yeah.
pistachio.
I assume they're the finest pistachios you can get, unless you're of course at like the Pepe factory.
Right there, they're the freshest. If you're at the Peppy factory, you're right there on the line. You're picking them off the line.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that is of course the best.
yeah. But
But
this is
no.
a close second.
Oh yeah, close
Yeah.
second. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I
So
guess
tasty.
I'm gonna have to order myself some Pepe pistachio
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. Do it. Get some. What's up?
So, how are you, Carlin? How's the month been? Did you watch our film we're supposed to be covering today?
Yeah, I
For your
did.
eyes only?
That's why I'm eating these pistachio nuts because I really want to understand the
Uh-huh.
characters of the movie. And so I thought, well, what better way than to while I'm in the middle of doing something where I shouldn't be eating pistachio nuts, I eat pistachio nuts.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. That's one of the things that my podcast masterminds are telling me to
Oh
do.
gosh.
They're like saying like you're not. They've listened to the show. They've listened to some of the episodes,
Are you sure they've listened?
and they're like telling me. They tell me they did. So who am I not going to believe them? Of course I'm going to believe them because they're
They're masterminds.
masterminds, right?
Okay.
So they're telling me like
Can
get
you
into it.
can you tell me who these masterminds are, or is this secretive?
It's kind of secretive, like I don't really want to give it away. I don't want people to figure it out. Like I don't want other because we're listened to by other podcasts. Like again, I'm not naming names, but like Baines Johnding, I'm sure they listen to
Yeah.
us, and I don't want them to like listen to the fact that I'm in a podcast mastermind.
You're
And
right.
then I give away a lot of secrets, and they're like, "Oh, can I join that mastermind group?"
Yeah. Or they would join. They
No.
would start a rival mastermind group and try to steal masterminds
Look,
from your
I
group,
can't stop. Yeah, I can't stop them from starting one of their own.
but they would
Obviously,
try to steal. Yeah.
obviously they wouldn't. Whoever they put together, they wouldn't be masterminds. They wouldn't be the master, because that's who I'm already with. I'm already with the masters.
Well, the original mastermind group would be the most masterful.
They'd be like the apprentice minds, or something like that.
All right, we're not naming we don't name names on this show.
No,
So you're saying they were telling you to get
they're like really
into
like
characters.
yeah, just like get into it. Like
Okay.
you know, just get in it, get in it, get in it.
So what does that mean? What like how besides eating pistachio nuts, how are you getting into uh the characters from this movie?
I've practiced some crossbow bolt shooting. I've done some
Okay.
scuba diving. Nude scuba diving, of course.
So these sound like some high level goals. Is that
Well,
what
they're pushing
is
me.
that how you
They're
describe?
pushing me to be bigger and better than I am. Because I'm telling them, I say to them, they're like, why do you want to be here? You say, Carlin, why do you want to be here? Because that's my name. I'm Carlin
Yeah.
Trammell. You're Aaron Nix, and this is the Pod James Pod podcast. And they're saying to me, Carlin, why do you want to be here? Like, why should you be here in this mastermind group? And I say, I'm a part of the Pod James Pod podcast. And like, oh, of course, okay, we get why you're here. Like, we get why you're worthy of being in this group. But,
Uh-huh.
like, why do you, like, why, like, what do you want to get out of it? At the end of this, what do you want to be? And I say, I want a potty. I want to win the potty.
Yeah.
And they're like, you haven't won it yet? I'm like, no.
We're all surprised.
So they're
of
pushing
course.
me. They're pushing me to be more. Because apparently I'm not enough. That's why we haven't gotten the potty yet. I haven't been enough.
Carlin, you're right. You're not enough. You haven't been enough. But all this sounds very, very familiar. It sounds a lot like some Alabama Dog U session. Oh, forgive me. Sorry. Rebrand. Bama Creative Group
Yeah.
sessions. I mean, these you've been talking about these like this higher purpose, higher calling, these high level goals. Uh, I'm getting a sense that this is very familiar.
Look, I
Why?
want to I want to
Why?
give
I just asked why you don't go to Bama Dog
I
about
want to
it.
give credit where credit is due. I wouldn't be where I am without Alabama Dog.
Okay.
I gotta find something else too, I gotta find more. And Bama Dog, he's ready for people out
He's
there.
not Philly.
He's out
What
there.
you?
He's looking for different people now. Like, I've gotten what I can out of Alabama Dog. You know?
That concept is I can't even think about
Oh
that.
man, he's,
As far as needing something more than Alabama Dog or not being satisfied by his
I'm
knowledge.
not saying I'm not satisfied. I'm just saying, like, I think it's time. It's time for me to look elsewhere and get more out of life. You know? Besides, it's weird. It's weird now because we're campaigning for him to be the next
Yeah.
James Bond, and so like I feel like it's this weird like there's this weird dynamic between him and myself right now because that's what I'm focused on with him, and so he has to listen to me a lot. Like he has to listen to me where I'm saying to him like, "Hey, A-Dog, go out there and do this. Do this appearance and like
Yeah.
wear the tux." And so it's a little bit
Commercials
weird
and
now where like
the toy line.
if he's listening, yeah, the toy line, of course. If he's listening to me, then and then at the same time I'm listening to him, it creates
Yeah.
a weird dynamic, and so I just have to look elsewhere right now.
Okay. Okay. So where am I in this mix? Is this something
Nebraska, I think
where
you're pretty much in Nebraska, right?
is but I mean you're looking for more than just Alabama Dog. Are you looking for more than just this podcast with me? Is this something where you're going to go off and do your own podcasts, say with
No,
somebody from the mastermind group?
I only do the one podcast. I do this podcast and no other podcasts. You know that.
Well, I sure hope so because this podcast is it's one of the best. It's worthy of a mastermind group
Oh, for sure.
inclusion. Um,
I mean,
it's spawned several other spoof podcasts such as Bames John Dean.
yeah. I mean, we're pretty much an inspiration to a lot of the podcasts out there. I think that like
I think if you go on our iTunes page and look at similar podcasts or other podcasts downloaded by listeners, you'll see just a list of our list of people who influenced by us.
yeah, and we hear that all the time. Other James Bond podcasts, they come to us and they're like, what do you have that we don't? Again, I'm not naming names, but I think in this case I will because I don't think they're gonna mind. That hashtag underscore Bond underscore hashtag age
Underscore.
underscore hashtag show, and they're almost there. They're almost there. You know,
They're not too close.
they're not
They're not
too
too
close, but they're almost there.
They're almost there. Okay.
I mean, here's the highest compliment I can pay them.
Yeah.
They're not too bad.
I mean, we've named their name before.
We have named their name, and that I feel like really is the highest compliment possible to say
Yeah.
to them, "Hey guys, listen to me. You're not too
We're gonna
bad.
call you out.
You're not too bad."
That's the only way I know how to describe them.
Man, these
They're not-
pistachios also not too bad.
You're still eating those.
I'm gonna keep
Are
eating
you
the
gonna be
whole
eating
show, man.
the entire episode?
The whole bag,
You're gonna get sick.
probably.
I hope you're not allergic, and you puff up.
The thing is, I might be. I am. I think I'm allergic to tree nuts. My throat is already starting to feel a little weird. But I am devoted. I'm devoted to the show.
Wait. Are you gonna be turned into like Mr. Big and like blow up?
That's not the show we're talking about.
We're talking about Bond.
I know, but we're talking about For Your Eyes Only. That's the episode. That's the movie we're talking about this episode.
I know. I'm looking back. I'm looking back.
Speaking of looking back, how's the book coming?
You don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
You don't know?
I don't know what. I'm asking you.
Then the news. Did you not get the memo?
About what, the book?
Yeah. Bama Dog, with his new rebrand with Bama Creative Group, didn't he emailed me, and he told me to put it on hold, to take everything I've written and to just put it on hold because we're trying to push him to be the next James Bond.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so I have stacks.
He might have emailed me. Here's the thing. I mean, you can reach me anytime. You can get a hold of me.
You mean
Anytime.
reach QK?
You can reach me anytime. You know, anytime you want. You just text me, just email me, just call me,
I
leave
know-
a voicemail, send me a letter, whatever it takes. You reach me anytime. But I might have missed that email.
So those times I've tried to text you and you don't respond for a couple days. That's
I probably
just
got him. I probably have him.
it's just somewhere. Just you just chose to ignore them.
Probably.
Okay.
I
So
mean-
you're telling me you've been writing this entire time, or maybe you've
No,
been writing,
of
but
course
then
not. Of
it's
course
been
I haven't been writing
getting
the whole
deleted
time.
by your
Of
kids.
course I haven't been writing the whole time. I have been having
Besides eating
QK write
pistachio
the whole
nuts.
time. QK has been writing this whole time. Well, she told me she has.
She's not qualified.
Here's what happened.
She's not worthy of a mastermind group.
I go to the bookstore the other day. And I go into the
They still have
section-
those.
Yeah, they got bookstores. They got, stores where you go buy books. I walk in. There's a section. Oh man, my throat is starting to feel weird. There's a section where they have books about movies, and I'm like, oh,
Books about movies.
like
This
different
sounds-
movies, like how they make movies, how they write movies. Here's a book about a specific movie, and I'm looking around, and there's a book written by Roger Moore about
You know,
James
be better
Bond.
than that. A movie about making movies.
Of course. Then I wouldn't have to read it. But that's not the point. The point is Roger Moore wrote a book about James Bond. Okay, if
Okay.
Roger Moore can do it, certainly we can.
We brought that book up before.
I
in a
know,
previous
and I
episode.
saw it in person, and I'm
We
thinking,
said he's not an
Roger
expert.
Moore's not a writer.
He's not an expert like us.
Oh.
He doesn't get into the nitty gritty.
I mean, well, he was in 7 movies. There've been so many more movies than that.
How does that qualify him as an expert?
Not at all.
Okay, so you saw the book, and then
Yeah, and
what?
I'm just now it bugs me that we've put this book on hold. I want to get back to the book.
You're saying our book would be better than that book. That he's making money and we could be making money instead of him.
It's not about the money. It's about sharing knowledge.
You're right.
I mean,
You're right. We could
not
we could
about
be
the money.
inspiring. We could inspire.
it's never about the money. We could be inspiring, educating, changing the world.
Carlin, I have bills. I have a family to feed. You're telling me it's not about the money?
That's not why you should be doing this. Do you need help? Do you need some
Right.
help?
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Aaron,
We
I'm a
need-
little
we
concerned
need-
now. It concerns me that you're like,
Listen. I want to inspire people as much as you, as much as Bama Dog, as much as your mastermind group.
no.
But
hold
when it
on.
comes down to it, we got to put some food on the table.
I know, but it concerns me. Are you like,
If we are getting money from this podcast, then why are we still doing this?
why are we doing this? Because of all those things. But I'm a little concerned. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? I mean, it sounds like you are.
I mean, with as little money as we get from this podcast, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, yes, we may be famous, but we are not the rich and the famous.
Yeah, I feel like we're
Round.
kind of exposing ourselves here a little bit right now. But look, here's what
Maybe.
here's what I'd like
Maybe
to
we
offer to you.
I was considering opening like an Indiegogo page for our podcast or a
Uh-huh.
Kickstarter page,
Yeah.
whichever you prefer. I I was just kicking that around the other day. I haven't brought it up with Bama Dog or yourself yet, but that may seem too desperate. I don't know. I'm
It
just it's
concerns
tough,
me.
man.
It concerns me. Here's what I know we only talk once a month. We only talk when we record this show.
Uh-huh.
Let's say I survive this recording and I don't die from some sort of like anaphylactic shock or
Well,
something.
you need to put the nuts down right
Let's
now.
say I don't die, okay?
Okay, let's say you don't.
I'm willing to talk to you some other time in between recordings and help you with your finances. I'm willing to go over them with you. I'm willing to
Wait,
look
is this
over
going
your
to cost
budget.
money?
Is it going to
Is it,
cost money?
is this
No.
going to are you going to charge me to talk to you?
No, of
I
course
mean,
not.
I know you have a staff. I know you're eating high-end, high-quality nuts
Yeah,
such as the
peppy
Peppy
pistachio nut.
pistachios.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like you're living the high life there.
It
You got an
bugs me that
assistant,
you are living paycheck to
staff.
paycheck while I'm sitting here eating high-end pistachios. Like right in front of you while we're talking. That seems
Right in
weird.
front of me.
Let's make an appointment for me to help you with your finances.
Let's make that a high level goal.
Eh, maybe not high.
It's
More
not
like
that.
if we can get to it.
It's not
Goal.
that high.
I know it seems like I'm being a little wishy-washy. Oh, let's work in the book. Let's not work in the book. Like really want to work in the book. That's what we need to be doing.
I we can work on the book all we want, but I feel like the book is going to be nothing without until we get Bama Dog on board. And to get Bama Dog on board, because I mean, let's be honest, the only way people are going to buy it, the only way it's going to get out there is because he was going to do the forward and he's going to do his paw print on each book.
Uh huh.
The only way to do that, to get him on board, is to get him cast as the next James Bond. We got to get it done.
Meanwhile, one of the other James Bond cast members out there writing books, selling books, passing himself off as an expert.
I know. Once Bama Dog is cast, then we can put it as written by the next James
Then
Bond.
we got to have the book written. Let's get it written. Let's get it ready. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Let's
Okay.
let's bunker down. Let's do it. Just make sure you save them, and make sure you save the files on like an external hard drive. Carlin, are you there?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Are you there?
I'm fine. Yes, I'm fine.
Do you need to call Q? I'm gonna tweet QK right now.
She may not be able. She might not hear you over the smoothie. She's making smoothies right now. It's smoothie time.
It's smoothie time.
Well, it seems like it's always smoothie time.
Wait. I think I hear it back there.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so loud.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Can you hear
How-
me?
Is she still going?
Uh
How
huh.
how big is the smoothie?
It's like I don't know, like a gallon jug.
A gallon jug smoothie.
Well, she goes around. She gives other guys and gals in the office smoothies.
Oh, so really is smoothie
Whether
time.
they
Is
want
this
them or not.
before or after yoga?
Usually, usually there's a smoothie time before, and there's a smoothie time after.
That doesn't seem very good. Do you drink the smoothies?
No, 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 no.
For your eyes only.
Yeah.
So this is the fifth Roger Moore
The fifth movie. What do you?
movie
Fifth
we've
movie.
covered.
This is the one that immediately follows Moonraker, which I know we're not like.
And I'm talking about as far as our episodes. This is episode 0020, by the way.
Yes.
0020. And in 0017 we talked about Moonraker. And in 0010 we talked about The Man with the Golden Gun. And in 007 we talked about Octopussy.
I think it's also worth mentioning 003.
002 we talked about Live and Let Die. Sorry, I just had to finish there.
Uh huh. 0013 we talked about On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh yes, here we go.
And I think it's worth talking about because this is finally some
Finally, some closure.
some follow up, some closure on that storyline. Now you have to admit that's something that has got to what? No, don't take my pistachios away. I don't care what he
Take
said
them
to
away.
you. No,
Okay, thank
no, no. No.
Take 'em.
No. Haha! I've got like 5 left. She took them away.
you. She took them away.
Finally, at the beginning of this movie, we get a little bit of closure on the end of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and we see Bond visiting Tracy Bond's grave, and
Yes.
then this it just so happens that there's some bald guy in a wheelchair who got the remote control helicopter, and
Who is, we assume is Blofeld. His identity is never
Never
revealed.
revealed for legal reasons.
Legal reasons.
But yeah, it's Blofeld, and Bond dumps Blofeld into a
Big chimney
big
stack.
chimney stack, and that's the end of Blofeld again.
A little
Until
cartoonish.
until next time, whenever that may be. But I liked it. I liked the beginning. I like this opening scene.
You do.
I do for a couple reasons. One, finally closure. Yeah, it's a little cartoony, but finally some closure on that. Two, it says that this is the same character, which I never really doubted it, but it's like there's all these, and we talked about this before, but there's always like, oh, this is, Roger Moore plays a different person who just goes by the name of James Bond, but he's actually a different spy altogether, and James Bond is just a code name. And I like that.
Your name.
I like that it's not. It's definitely the same guy, and we do get that established a couple of times, but this is one of the more prominent places that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it sets the tone. You say it's cartoony, and I don't disagree, but it sets the tone for this movie that follows Moonraker. Moonraker, an absolutely absurd movie, and this movie,
Slightly less absurd movie.
well, but as a whole, no, it's not slightly less absurd. It's quite a bit less absurd compared to Moonraker. In fact,
No, you're
as
right,
a
you're
whole,
right, you're
it
right.
harkens back to this could have been like a Sean Connery script.
Uh-huh.
And I think that pre-title sequence is almost like them saying that this is more of that era of James Bond. Prepare yourself for that. This is not James Bond with lasers in space. We're going a little bit more back to basics. So here's our nod to Blofeld, and then we're going to get into a more basic Bond adventure.
See, I didn't mind the nod to Blofeld. I didn't mind the connection back to a Connery era Bond, and I felt like the movie as a whole was a good nod. Like like you said, it was more of a Connery era script, and the set pieces were gone. The action was more intimate. There wasn't a lot of gadgets, all that kind of stuff. But the opening scene was by far the most absurd scene of the film. Like if they were gonna set it up, I don't feel like it set the movie up appropriately.
Just the fact that it harkens back, just because it's Blofeld. I mean, I think that's what what I'm getting at. It's like looking back at Tracy Bond and Blofeld, and yeah, maybe the scene
that was
itself is
fine.
more absurd than other
The,
scenes,
the
arguable.
way, yeah, the way it was executed though was very cartoonish and just it was just so bad. It was so bad.
I don't know. I disagree. I don't think it was so bad.
It was so bad. The opening was horrible.
No, it wasn't
I like
horrible.
I
It
like
wasn't horrible.
I like it up until the point when we start to see Blofeld take over the helicopter and he's chasing him and the helicopter scenes. Let me say the only thing I liked about the opening scene was once again Roger Moore is in a movie with really cool air stunts. Really impressive air stunts. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, but after Octopussy and after Moonraker, I'm just impressed. I'm blown away by the air stunts in Roger Moore films. So that's about all I can say about that opening scene.
All right. Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree.
I guess it's I think it's like that Tracy connection where
I
we just
feel
can't
like
see
we're
eye to
heading
eye.
down. We're heading down a path with this movie already.
Fine.
I think I think I tend to like it better when the opening scenes are like these little mini adventures that sometimes will tie in to the rest of the movie, and but when it's pretty much standalone, I seem to like it better. It's like I almost feel like
Yeah.
I'm getting this bonus second movie.
It's almost like in Diamonds Forever how that opening scene could have been a standalone scene, but then they decided to tie it in at the end of the
Yeah,
film,
yeah.
which made it way more
Which made
disappointing.
this better that they didn't tie it in.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, this opening had so much more closure than the opening of Diamonds Are Forever, which is weird since that film followed On Her Majesty's Secret
Right,
Service.
right. And plus, we have so many. There's 4 movies in between, or 5 movies in between
Yeah.
Lazenby's and this one. So it's a little bit like I don't know. I don't know what would have inspired them to say, "Hey, let's finally address that." It does seem a little weird that they would finally.
It's like we want a redo. Let's do a redo on that.
let's just move on.
Let's go on.
Let's talk about this movie.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Carol Bouquet. I guess that's how you say her last name. That's how I'm saying it, so that's how everyone should say it. Carol Bouquet.
Bouquet of Carols.
Melina Havelock.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about
when
her.
people say, "Give me your top, 4 or 5 Bond girls" or whatever, I would say Carol Bouquet never makes a list. People are talking about Honey Rider, Pussy Galore. They're talking about Vesper at this point.
Cigar.
They're talking about Cigar Girl. But Carol Bouquet as Melina Havelock does not ever get mentioned, and I think that's a little bit of a crime. I watch this movie again. I think she's actually really good. She stands on her own. She holds her own. She doesn't come across. And we talked about this, I think, last time with Tiffany Case.
Yeah.
How she's really inconsistent as a character. She plays strong. She plays as a strong character, but then suddenly is ditzy, and then suddenly is, oh, James, and like really inconsistent. And this movie, Melina Havelock, not that way. Very, very much a strong character, and I don't feel like she has as much of that.
That crossbow, man, she's dangerous.
Yeah. So I like her quite a bit. I don't know how you feel, but I think she's a good character.
This is how I feel about her. I feel like her character is, like you said, strong female character. I feel like she has a good motivation throughout the film. She's the meat of the story here, right? She's got the
she's
actual
just a piece
motivation.
of meat to you. Okay.
That's exactly what I said. Um, she's moving the story along. She has the motivation with her parents and all these different things. And her character could have been so cool, so good. It reminded me a little bit of Olga Kurylenko's character, say in like Quantum of Solace or something, where she has motivation. She wants revenge. She wants that revenge story. Okay, but Melina Havelock, I feel like she's in the movie for 3 scenes. I feel like she's just a minor character, supporting character, whereas she should have been a full-fledged main character in the film. She just pops in every once in a while, and she gives that blank stare, and she doesn't say hardly anything, and I just felt so disappointed by the character because she had so much potential, but her character just never lived up to it. And that's nothing to say about Carol Bouquet's performance or anything like that. I just don't feel like they treated her with the way they needed to treat her. Too much plot came into the story. This movie is so plot heavy. There's so many twists, there's so many turns, there's so many characters that this movie just gets weighed down by the plot. So much so that I missed a lot of her character development.
I think you and I are going to be we're the kinds of people who disagree on this point, and I like when I watch movies. I like sometimes for a movie to be very character based. I want to watch a movie and see character development, see character growth. I want to see here they are at point A at the beginning of the movie, and then something happens, and now they're different. Now they've grown. Now they're better people, or they're worse people. They're different people. Whatever. When it comes to
isn't
a Bond,
isn't that why we watch movies?
But when it comes to a Bond movie, I'm more interested in the plot because Bond himself really isn't going to change that much. Everything's pretty stereotypical. Everything's pretty cardboard cutout. Everything's pretty much your standard, like, here's your bad guy, here's your girl. So I want to see something more. I want to see an interesting plot. And that's what I like about For Your Eyes Only, because they pull in these plots and these other characters and twists and turns. That I welcomed this movie. I welcome it. Thank you.
Good Bond movies, good, is that they do make it about the characters. When we're talking about Skyfall, this is the Skyfall section of the episode.
Have you made a Skyfall bumper yet? Is there a Skyfall? You almost we have bumpers for everything else.
Okay, it's Skyfall bumper now.
Skyfall.
Well, like when we're talking about the Casino Royales or the Golden Eyes or the
Quantum of Solaces, right? I get it.
What makes them different is that they aren't stereotypical and that they do make it about either the Bond character or their strong supporting characters that have really strong motivation and strong character development, and that's what makes them different. That's what makes them good. Whereas in For Your Eyes Only, is very stereotypical. It's very just formulaic when it comes to Bond films. And yes, there's a lot of plot. Yes, it goes back to the roots of Bond more than say Octopussy. You know, it's following that evolution of Bond films that we've talked about in previous episodes. But it's still so plot heavy. And Roger Moore is just he's not an actor. I don't think any Bond film that he has a whole lot of character growth for Bond. So I'm just saying that as far as supporting characters, there was potential here versus there wasn't potential really in Octopussy or in some of the other films
Or
of his that I've seen.
Moonraker, or
Sorry,
right, almost any of them that we've talked about. I mean,
yeah,
Octopussy, Moonraker.
but this
Yeah.
had potential, and it was more disappointing to me. Maybe that's why.
Okay.
That's just the way I feel. And I know we're not going to see eye to eye, but these aren't for my eyes only. They're for our eyes.
My throat burns.
Was that too much?
Huh?
Too much? Was that too much?
Was that too much? No, my throat burns. I had too many pistachios.
Do you need some water? Do you need
I'm
a
drinking
drink
some
of
water.
Peppy?
I'm drinking some water.
Why aren't you drinking Peppy?
I'm drinking bottled Peppy water.
Bottled Peppy water?
Yes.
So let's keep talking about this film.
There are a lot of characters in this movie, and I think that one of the oddest, but yet humorous to me, character interactions is the ice skater and Roger Moore. The is it
What
BB?
world is going on
I don't
with,
know,
with
but
those?
I remember when I first saw this movie, I was really creeped out by it because I was a little
Yeah,
concerned that Roger Moore might do things he shouldn't.
exactly.
But then, now knowing that everything's okay, he really it just winds up being it's still weird, it's still a little creepy, but it's
He's Roger Moore's 54, I believe, when this movie came out. He's 54, and he could be her grandpa.
yeah, yeah, and she's what 15 or something. She's trying to
Yeah.
seduce him. It's a little odd.
It
It
was
was a
just like
little
it
confusing.
was an excuse for Bond to be in a room with a young, attractive female,
Well, I think it was an
and for
excuse.
Bond to say no.
It was an excuse to have an ice skater in the plot, so that later could be the ice skate fight scene, which is actually a pretty good
The
fight
hockey
scene.
scene.
Yeah, the hockey scene.
I think it was an excuse to get as many Olympic sports in this film as possible.
And there are a lot. There are a lot.
So yeah, we see cross country skiing with the rifles. We see long jump. We see hockey. We see ice skating. We see bobsled, four-man bobsled. Am I missing anything? Uh,
I don't know. I don't remember all of them.
Bond would get a gold in every single one of these sports, of course.
He would, and that's a problem. The fact that he's Roger Moore and he's on your
It's not my
team,
dodge.
he's on your
Yeah.
dodgeball team. That is a problem for me.
Let me tell you, he is a great dodger in this film.
Oh, he is. He is a masterful
Of
dodger.
sharpshooter bullets whizzing by. He is multi-purpose in this film, and I'm so glad he's on my team. And he goes underwater. It's great for my stealth boat. Man, everything that Roger Moore touches in this film is great for my team.
I'll tell you who would not be someone you would want on your dodgeball team, and that is Eric Kreigler. That guy could not
Okay.
hit anything. When he picks up the motorcycle to throw it at Bond, he couldn't have been farther away from Bond. Like
Let me.
Bond didn't even have he didn't even have to dodge.
The thing is that Eric Kreigler could have just ran 10 feet in front of him and tackled Bond. By the time it took him to lift this heavy motorcycle
Yeah.
and sort of chuck it at
I'm
him,
watching this
and then he
movie and
threw
I'm
a wheel.
thinking, the whole time up to that scene, I'm like, ooh, Eric, you might have a spot on the dodgeball team. And then as
Uh-huh.
soon as he throws the motorcycle, I'm like, you're done. Nope, there's no way. Next, and I'm done with him. I
Yeah,
don't even
I mean,
consider him.
let's give it up to he's a strong guy. He's throwing the motorcycle a good distance. He's good with the gun. He's good. He's got good aim when it's not a heavy object.
But he still
Uh,
never hits Roger Moore, and that's what I need. I need someone on my
yeah.
team that can hit Roger Moore.
Let me tell. Is there anybody in any movie that does hit Roger Moore?
We still have two more Roger Moore films to watch, so we'll see.
I think the closest person to hit Roger Moore is my twin knife thrower, number one.
Yeah, I think so. And he's on your team.
And luckily he's on my team, Mishka. Okay, so I think you're first up this month. You can either draft somebody or you don't have to draft anybody
You're right.
onto your dodgeball
You're right.
team.
Having
We've hit our limit of 10 players per team. If you want to look at our players, you can go to podjapespod.tumblr.com. Look at our teams of dodgeball teams. So this hypothetical, well, it's not hypothetical, it's very real. Our teams get together monthly and competes.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go with Kriegler. I considered him. I want to say that I considered Topol because that guy's a hoot. That guy is awesome. This Milos Colombo, the guy who was eating pistachio nuts. I cannot
He's
consider
a hoot.
him because I do not have the pistachio budget, just like you don't have the mascara budget. I cannot consider
I
Milos.
got rid of Vesperlin. She was
I know because yeah, you could not afford the mascara.
okay.
So I really think, though I like Melina Havelock and I've talked about her already, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass. I'm not gonna pick anyone from this movie. I'm gonna stick with my team as is for
Oh,
now.
wow. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to draft somebody from this movie.
Okay.
And this character was in a previous Bond film. In fact, is a character that was previously on your team.
Mm.
I'm going to draft the Shark. The Shark
Are we sure
was
it's the
in this
same
film.
shark?
Oh, it's definitely the same shark. The shark obviously is not, it doesn't care one bit about Roger Moore. It's not going to attack my Bond. It loves my Bond. Uh, and my stealth boat has been sitting there on dry land for long enough.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'm going to get the shark
This,
on my team.
you're convinced it's the same shark from License to
I'm
Kill.
convinced. I'm convinced.
He's out there. He's swimming around and for your eyes only. And then
Yeah.
somewhere along the way, Sanchez or whatever finds this exact shark and brings him into
Eats
captivity
Felix.
to eat Felix's legs.
Not fatally eat him.
No,
Just injure
just
him.
munch on him a little bit.
Yeah. So this shark is going to intimidate your Timothy Dalton Bond for sure.
You think? I don't think my
Oh
Timothy
yeah.
Dalton's gonna care. He's gonna be so much more angry now because that's the same shark that ate part of his friend.
Exactly. I'm getting in his head.
No.
Timothy Dalton is now he is going to be looking at my shark that whole time and he's going to be focused on my
Oh,
shark
he's gonna be
thinking he wants revenge because Timothy Dalton's all about his revenge.
yeah,
He's the revenge Bond.
and he'll get that revenge.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. He's in a stealth boat.
So wait, the shark is in the boat?
He's
This sounds like the
driving
worst
boat.
idea ever.
He's driving the boat. The shark is driving the boat.
This is a horrible idea, but I look forward to next month's game to see what happens.
So I have to get rid of somebody on my team. I think the only person I can get rid of right now is Necros. Although he
I cannot
is,
even believe that you would consider getting rid of Necros.
I gotta. I mean, it's tough. It's tough because Necros, man, he could throw those milk bottles better than just about anybody. Um, but I'm looking at my team. I feel like Necros is the only one I can afford to get rid of.
So Necros is gone.
Necros is
So
gone,
he's up for grabs.
as is everybody we've gotten rid of.
Right, right. I feel like that we've gotten rid of enough people that there's almost this like other team that could
Yeah,
be
the reject
formed.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you've gotten rid of Tiger Tanaka, Coral Jr., Octopussy, the Shark, who's now on my team, Andrea, and Jimmy Bond slash Dr. Noah.
Yeah.
I've gotten rid of Renard. Oh, Renard.
Oh, I can't believe you got rid of him.
Xenia on the top, Necros, Loti, Sheriff Pepper,
Nobody cuts and runs on Sheriff J.W. Pepper. Sheriff Pepper.
William Lungdigan, the cameraman who filmed Bond,
Uh-huh.
and Tatiana making love,
Uh-huh.
and most recently Vesper Lind.
Right.
Well, not most recently.
Well, now
Necros is most recent.
Necros is most recent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a really nice team in there somewhere. Out of there, we could pick 10 people to be a really good team, and then work them into the rotation.
I have 8 rejects right now.
Yeah.
That's almost an entire team.
That is. Maybe there's 2 teams we could. Maybe that's the next
I mean,
thing we
we
do. Is we look at forming like reject teams out of my rejects and your rejects, and we just work them into the rotation just for practice or whatever. I don't know.
Like an alternate team.
Not an alternate. Not like it's an alternate team that I'm in charge of, but just my team and your team always play. Like, what if there's other teams that our teams play?
Oh, practice squads.
Yeah, practice squads, exactly.
Well, I think we're to that point now in our episode where we do our monthly rankings of the film that we watch. And just to recap, we don't rank these 1 through 24, 23. We have a top tier, we have a middle tier, and we have a bottom tier. And Carlin, what would you put For Your Eyes Only in?
For Your Eyes Only. I think if we look back at my ratings, and you could my tier placement, and you can do that by going to podgamespod.tumblr.com/ratings. You would look at this. You would look at my list, and Roger Moore does not rank well in my. Live and Let Die, bottom. Octopussy, bottom. Man with the Golden Gun, oh, middle. Good job there. Moonraker, bottom. He is not done well. Roger Moore and I guess I don't, in general, like the Roger Moore films. That said, I enjoy For Your Eyes Only. I find it very refreshing. I still don't love Roger Moore in it, but I think he's better in this than he is in some of his other movies. I'm going to say, For Your Eyes Only, welcome into the top club. You're in. You did it, Roger Moore. You made it into the top club.
Woo! I know why you put it in the top. You bought Roger Moore's book. You've become a big Roger Moore fan.
No.
You've become a big Roger Moore fan. And you are so jealous that he's on my dodgeball team.
No.
I can't believe it. I can't believe you put this movie in your top.
You can't believe it because...
I can't believe it. It is my bottom dweller.
Are you kidding me?
It's so...
What
listen.
the deal?
I could watch this movie a dozen times and I could get a kick out of it because there are enough hokey scenes. Roger Moore is he's amusing. Okay, he's amusing. I like the Olympic sports, whatever. But as a movie, it just sucks. It just sucks. It's just so bad.
I find it fascinating. You look at our rankings, and like there's so many we actually do see eye to eye on. We've got Live and Let Die, Dr. No, You Only Live Twice, Living Daylights, Goldfinger. So many of these and then some are just like we couldn't be more farther apart.
Yeah, listen, I think I could have. I appreciate the effort in this movie to take it back, different style with Roger Moore. I appreciate Roger Moore came back. I just feel like John Glenn as a director, it's his first time directing. He'd been the editor on several.
You
previous
hate
films.
editors. You hate editors.
But yes, the editor turned director for On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and the editor turned director for
Look at me. I went to film school, and I can point out these things.
I'm telling you, just the directing in this film is just so bad. It's so bad. It's just. It's an
editor's showcase, and so when that happens, it's not as well directed. And my opinion matters more because I went to film school.
This editor directing is John Glenn did a far better job than the director of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That was just abysmal.
We're not talking about that movie.
I know we're not talking. Thank God. But. This is in my bottom for sure. So okay, bottom for me, top for you.
Yep.
Boat makeout? Heck yes, boat makeout scene.
And it's got a credits sequence, an in credits sequence essentially, that continues on the story. So we not only see what happens in the boat, but after, when they go underwater.
A post-boat makeout. A bonus boat makeout scene.
Well, they're not in the boat anymore. But we're not talking about what happens during the credits. And this is a case where we do see what happens during the credits. If we had gotten that in Diamonds Are Forever, that could have changed things for Diamonds Are Forever.
They were about to kiss. They were right there.
And if we'd seen it, even in the credits, I would count it. But I think we have to make a decision.
I think our votes have been tallied on our poll, and I think it's not going in favor of the boat makeout scene. Unfortunately, it was a close vote. I think it was 3-2.
Well, we rounded.
Where there was a boat, and you can assume they will kiss and make out, but we don't actually see them kiss. So sorry, Diamonds Are Forever. Close but no cigar, girl.
A lot of times at the end of this show, we tell our listeners, because we want them to engage with us, we want them to be able to follow along, and we say, next time on the show, this is what we're going to talk about. Next time on the show, we're going to talk about something special. We're going to let it be a surprise.
That sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's been nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I will see you
I'm
next
sure
month.
it has been nice talking to me.
Unless we talk about my financial situation.
Correct. If we get around to that, then we'll talk before next time. But we'll see.
Until then.
Until then.